Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just hours after the President's misguided, counterproductive, and objectively anti-American Muslim ban was signed, we saw the effects. Chaos erupted at airports around the country, including in my own district at Chicago O'Hare. Green card holders were held in legal limbo. Refugees fleeing violence and persecution were sent away before boarding U.S.-bound flights, even after enduring years of thorough screening and vetting. Unfortunately, this is not the first time we have turned away innocent people seeking safety in our country. In 1939, the German ocean liner St. Louis and its 937 passengers, almost all Jewish refugees, were turned away from the port of Miami and sent back to Europe. Of these passengers, 254 were murdered in the Holocaust. We all bear a responsibility to learn from the evils of history so that we will never make the same mistakes again. It is our turn to step up and fight, to protect the values of our nation, and ensure that we are on the right side of history. Because who can possibly forget the photo of Alan Kurdi, the 3-year-old Syrian boy who was washed up on a Turkish beach, or Orman Daknish, the 5-year-old Syrian boy covered in blood as he waited for emergency care after being rescued from a building in Aleppo hit by an airstrike. These devastating images have become symbols of the refugee crisis. We cannot let them symbolize our inaction, too. The President's executive order creating this Muslim ban undermines the foundational ideas of this country, a nation founded by immigrants with the intention of providing freedom, opportunity, and a better life to all who seek it. Making good on one of his most extreme campaign promises, the President signed this order with little or no input from his own national security advisors, nor from specialists at the State Department, Homeland Security, or Justice Department, once again signaling his strong and continued dismissal of facts, evidence, and advice from seasoned experts. Contrary to the President's misguided belief, Islam is not the issue, and his decision to go after Muslims instead of terrorists only fuels our enemy's propaganda. The President's Muslim ban undermines our national security goals and is counterproductive in the fight against terrorism. The ban jeopardizes our strategic partnerships with allies in the Middle East, who are on the very front lines in the fight against ISIS. Seekers and foreign nationals have provided invaluable assistance to our military and diplomats in a variety of roles overseas. I agree with Senators McCain and Graham, who said this ban will become a self-inflicted wound in the fight against terrorism. Ultimately, this order is more likely to increase terrorist recruitment than to deter it. Outrage over this ban extends far beyond national security and counterterrorism experts. For example, we are seeing sharp criticism from business leaders across the country, including CEOs of companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, and Airbnb. They recognize that immigrants play a huge role in fostering our nation's entrepreneurial spirit, advancing new technology, creating startups, all of which spur innovation and economic activity across the country. Universities and academics across the country are also grappling with what the President's restrictions mean for their students and for scholarship and academia more broadly. Students benefit from the inclusion of all worldviews, which provide us with a deeper understanding of science, the arts, economic policy, national security, and all aspects of our society. Let's be clear, my own city of Chicago has been and will continue to be home to an immigrant and refugee community from all around the world, and we are forever enriched and grateful for their contributions. They make this country great. I, along with the majority of American people who took to the streets to make their opposition heard loud and clear, demand that the administration rescind this shameful order before even more grave and lasting damage is done. Let's call a spade a spade. Despite the White House's insistence that this is not a Muslim ban, the policy laid out by the President will almost exclusively impact Muslims. In fact, the President went so far to point out that this administration will prioritize the admittance for Christian refugees. If this is not a religious test, then what is? Refugees of all faiths, creeds, race, and national origins to America as a beacon of freedom. So long as this ban is in effect, that light shines less brightly. We will not etch a new inscription at the base of the Statue of Liberty. Instead, her golden lamp will continue to welcome those who are tired, poor, and yearning to be free, just as it always has. Thank you, and I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Babin, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.